In this lesson I'm going to show you how to manual digitize this piece of clip art of a flower. Now to start, I'm just going to get my manual line tool. I'm going to click at the top, I'm going to click at the bottom. You can right mouse click if you want all the way down that line. I just do it this way because I find it easier. So I'm just going to do enter, escape, edit outline, edit node. I'm just going to drag it where I want to be and generate. Grab my tool again and I'm going to do this part the same. Made a mistake, I want another one there, and I want one at the bottom. Just makes it easier when I try and change it. Just going to move that where I want it and generate. Now I can drag these two together and right click and merge and generate. Let's put those together. I might move that out up to the top there and generate again. Now I'm just going to zoom in and I'm going to grab my tool again, and this time I'm just going to do each one of these. Escape and generate. Didn't get it where I wanted it at the top of that one. Enter, escape. Drag it into place and generate. Do my next one. And that was pretty straight one anyway, and do the next one. Escape. Sorry, that shot out of line. And generate. So now I've got all my 4 pieces. Now I'm just going to select them and I'm going to drag these so that they're over the top of the other ones and generate. And I can merge those all together now because they joined at the bottom part. Now I have a gap, so I'm just going to do another line across, and as long as I go over the 2 of those and then select all of them, I can then merge them together and generate. They have all now merged together as a double run. That's just one way of doing that, rather than clicking all the way down with the right click and going up here. Okay, so I'm going to just zoom back in again. Now I'm just going to get my circle tool and just make a small circle on each one of those. And generate. Turn off my image just to make sure I've got lines covered. I have. I can turn my image back on again and I'll zoom back out again. So now very quickly we have actually done this part of the design. Now make sure you save as you go along. I won't keep saying save. I hope that by now that you know how to do that. Okay, I'm going to zoom in again. I'm just going to do this part here, and that's quite simple. Provided you line up this with the top of there and the side of there and drag it, you'll get that circle that you want. Enter, escape. Now I'm going to go to complex fill. I'm going to hit my space bar. I'm going to complex, select pattern, and I'm going to use pattern 9, okay. 3D look. Bit plain, okay. Go back into complex. Didn't like the look of that one, so I use that one instead. Okay, apply and okay. View it. That looks a bit better. Okay, now we're going to do these manual punch. You're going to use your manual punch tool for creating a Saturn, and we're going to start at this end. Click top, bottom, back to the top, the bottom, and try and keep your lines parallel to where you want them to be so that they go nice and smoothly around that. And you just keep clicking until you get to the end. Enter, escape and generate. Turn off your image Okay, now I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to start at this end, use the same tool and click twice. Now this time I'm actually going to use my right click, and you'll see this will actually curve around as we go, and I'll show you the difference between the two. This gives you a much smoother line. And left click just to finish. Enter, escape. Turn off the image and 3D view. Now you'll see that's really nice and smooth. That is very sort of jagged along there. So they're the two methods of doing, depend which look that you like best is what you will pick. Okay, I'm going to leave you for a second now before we do the next part of the design. Okay, what I've done is I've gone back and used the right click on this one so that it makes it nice and smooth, and I've also done these ones exactly the same as I did those two. You'll notice too that I've changed the colours of these just to make it easier to see. So now if I 3D view that, you'll also notice that I've changed that from a plain satin to a patterned satin, and I use number 9 pattern. Just makes it look a little bit more interesting. Okay. Turn off my 3D view and you'll see there's my image again underneath. Now I'm going to zoom in and do this area. Using the same tool as you just used before and starting at the center area, we're just going to do a satin stitch again. This time I'm just going to use my left click and enter, escape and generate. I can change the color of that and I can 3D view that, and there you can actually see where I've done the satin stitch. Now that needs to be done for all these. So I'm not going to do that because it'll take too long to do it on the actual video. It makes the video too large. But having done that first one, you know exactly how to do the other ones anyway. I'll be back shortly. Okay, I'm back, and you see that I've finished all these leaves, etc., plus the flower part, and I've changed the colours to make it a little bit more interesting. I'll turn off the 3D view. Now you'll also notice that I've placed the in and outs where I want them. For the running stitches, the double stitch, I've done in and out. These are very much the same where they were. I didn't really need to change those. Now I've actually moved the in and out on these so they finish in the center, and I've done that for all of them, all the way down. So I just moved that and generate. Next, we have the parts of the flowers. Again, I've moved that with the in and out to the center, and the same with this part of the flower as well. Okay, now all that's left is, if you aren't in the right order of these to stitch out, then it's very simple just to change the order down here. So number 1 is your double run, 2, 3, 4 and 5 are the ends of the stamens, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and the flower center is 19. Now you have a couple of ways of doing this. You can move these around, slide them up your sequence window, or you can go to the accessories and set stitch order and just do that yourself so they're stitching out in the right order. The only thing now that we need to do is to zoom in to each of these areas and make sure these all join in the middle. Again, those are also fitting along that line. And the same with these. Now you'll notice with this one, I'm just going to right click. It's got a bit of a bump and it's very sort of wide here. So if you go back in, we can actually just make sure these are going the right way by just moving them with your left mouse button. Click generate. Now I'm going to move that so that it's not on top of it, but it's as close as can be. And I actually want to just move these out a fraction. I don't particularly like that bump in the design. Okay, when I get it how I want it, I regenerate it. That's a little bit better. You can also, if you want, move it over the top of that line. You just play with them until you get it the look how you want it. Okay, now make sure with these 4 parts of the design, you move them together and you make sure these are underneath this part. It won't matter too much that they are underneath, it just makes it look a little bit better. So we're going to zoom back out again and 3D view. And there you'll see your design. Now you'll notice that I've got brown, green, 2 shades of pink. When you actually see the image, the design sewed out on my website, it is all one colour. So even though I've actually picked 4 colours for my design, I stitched it out in one colour, just to give you an idea, a different idea of how that can be stitched out. Okay, I hope you've been saving along the way. And I'll just end this lesson, and I'll be doing another lesson shortly.